All right, you good, Red?
All right, bet. We back. We live. We never even came up with a name for our Thursday show. I know this year we didn't do too many of them. People got busy, people don't having kids, and people got busy and stuff. So we've just been going Monday nights. Uh oh, I hear myself. Sorry. But yeah, so here we are, man. We are. This is Overdue Bills Thursday edition. We got our guest edition. We got our guy CJ from the Aftermath and the Tell the Truth podcast. He is our resident Chief fan. You know what I mean? We've been playing the Chiefs for the last 5 years. It seemed like we play them more than we play the Patriots. We play them. We feel like we play them more than we play Miami Dolphins, man. We play them every year. It's become our rival. The playoff not so much, but we're gonna talk about CJ here with us. Obviously, we got our guy, our our resident season ticket holder, our guy Matty Ice. How you doing, bro?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Getting ready for another game at the Ralph, or as it's known now as Highmark Stadium,
Yeah.
or I guess we can give it a new nickname, maybe the Ice Box or something like that. After last weekend,
We already got that
the,
trademark, man.
the freezer, something. Got
Yeah,
to figure something out.
it was my
Absolutely.
toe. I showed up to the game and my toes and my fingers by halfway third through third quarter. I'm like, yo, what's going on, bro? I gotta get out. But we got our guy CJ, man. CJ, you came from a cold game too against the Dolphins, so you already know what it is. So we ain't even telling you much. So how how
You
how,
feel
how you
me?
doing, bro? How you been?
I'm feeling the same way you is, bro. The halfway through the game, I couldn't feel my toes. Or after the first quarter, I thought I was telling my friends, bro, I'm gonna tough it out. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I snuck into the club level with the inside people, bro. I couldn't do it, dog.
That's like
I had to,
hey, bro.
I had to sneak inside. I was like, bro, I gotta at
I
least unthaw
respect it.
my hands, bro. I had to go get some food, bro. I couldn't sit outside like I usually do, gang.
I
I'm sorry.
respect it.
I had to tap out, man.
Nah, I respect it. Our guy Mills, the reason Mills got me out to the game because he said that he had to connect to the box, so I thought we was gonna
You
get
feel
into the
me?
box or
Hey,
something. It
you
didn't
already know.
happen, but that's the reason he got me out. But it didn't happen. But shout out to Mills. We'll figure that out. Maybe he gotta throw me something later. I don't know. Pause.
Shout
But
out Mills.
yeah, shout out to Mill, shout out to Mike, shout out to Sam Preach, who ain't here either. He had issues going, not issues, but he had something to deal with as well.
Oh
But
yeah, oh
we're gonna
yeah.
talk about the upcoming game of the week. It's Sunday night, 6:30. It's the last game of this weekend. It's a huge game. It's the Bills versus Chiefs. Everybody got the right. It's a rivalry every decade or so. It's a main rivalry. It was the Colts, Patriots. And I'm sure the Steelers had one with somebody. The Cowboys. I remember the Bills and Cowboys had one in the '90s. There's always some trademark one rivalry that everybody looked to see. And right now I think it's Chiefs Bills. Obviously, Bengals is somewhere in there too, somewhere. But Chiefs Bills has been something that both fan bases have been looking forward to and rooting for in the hard fought games. You know what I'm saying? So let's start off with this. Let's start off with we do have merch. We do have merch, overdue bills merch. This is like a one of a kind. So this ain't we gonna have a hoodie, something like this without this on it. How about that? We got merch like this, the overdue bills merch. Matt got on a crew neck. I got on the skull. This is premium items right here. These items is coming to y'all soon. I got
Coming to
on the
the store.
Scully. Coming,
Yeah.
coming to the store. They coming. It's fire.
That's
Shout out to
good stuff.
overduebillspod.com. It's up. It was under construction, but it's up now, ready to go. So shout out to that. Also, anything else before I get into this? We looking for sponsors. So anybody want to sponsor the pod, you come definitely sponsor the pod at any point in time, ads, promos, and all that type of stuff. Also, like, share, rate, and review so everybody can see the algorithm going and everything like that.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the show. Let's get into the show. Quick question of the day. Quick question of the day. Shout out to Preach. He prepared the show for us. Shout out to Preach. Quick question of the day. All right. I'm gonna start with you, Matt, and then I'm gonna let CJ see how we do this. I'm sure he know, but quick question of the day, Matt. What quarterback would you draft if starting the team right now? Right, we got obviously starting the team, so that's different than just the next year per se. What quarterback? We got a lot of young quarterbacks in the playoffs right now. Stroud, Love, Purdy, even So what quarterback? Obviously the big guns, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar Jackson. What quarterback would you start? Would you draft if you're starting the franchise today?
Yeah. I mean, it may seem biased, but I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. Obviously,
Uh-oh.
Pat won the rings
Uh-oh.
already, but it's he just the dual threat, the ability to kind of take over a game on with both aspects, and the competitor in him. You see it, time and time again where he in when the bright lights are on, he shows up. And it's rarely a case where there's a big primetime game or a playoff game where he just completely comes out there and lays an egg. And that's the Josh that we all know and love. Obviously you see the stats, you see the records, the record breaking things he does every year. He's the only quarterback with 4 years of having the 40 touchdowns passing
Yep.
and 10 touchdowns rushing. So that's something to be
Crazy.
said from that. Or sorry, 40 total touchdowns. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I might have spoke on that, but either way, you just see that, and if you put whatever you put around him, he's going to do something with it. So if I'm starting a team right now, I'll take Josh.
All right, CJ. He was a homer. His pick. Are you gonna be a homer too? Who would you rather have starting a franchise right now?
I got to pick 15, man. But I mean, like outside of the obvious ones, like you said, if we're like excluding like obviously Pat and Josh, if we're picking from the remaining four that you said, I'll probably take CJ Stroud. I ain't gonna lie. And I was high on CJ coming out of the draft. I didn't know if he was going to be as good as he is now, but he's showing me something a lot more than I expected from him. So yeah, obviously I'm taking 15, but besides the bias in me, I'm gonna give me CJ Stroud for another quarterback for sure.
This is tough. It's not obviously for me. I like Josh. I think you can't go wrong with Josh. You can't go wrong with CJ. But based on history, I think it's hard for you to not say Pat Mahomes. MVP, two-time MVP, two-time champion, been to the champion 3 times. Hopefully he don't, but if he do win this game, he'd been to the AFC Championship 6 times in a row, which is, like it's unheard of, right? It's literally unfathomable what they're doing over there in KC. So I think he was born, not born, but his playing career was born in like the best place he could be. Andy Reid, Kelsey, Tyreek Hill. He just had a great supporting cast when he came in the league, but he showed up and support and just was as good, if not better, than all his supporting cast. So you can't even necessarily just hang your hat on that anymore. So it's hard for me. I know Preach wanted, you know, a combative thing because he wanted to see who he's gonna go with. We're gonna go with our guy.
My bad, Priest.
Matt went with his guy. Matt went with Josh Allen. I respected this. I don't
Shout
think that's
out,
a
Matt.
wrong answer, but
Shout
it's
out,
hard for
Matt.
me not to see what Pat has done and say like he's not gonna project at least 2 more, 3 more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not at our expense. Hopefully we get him a couple times, but hopefully we go every other year or something like that. But it's hard for me not to go Pat Mahomes there as far as
Yeah,
starting.
but you gotta look at that. I mean, obviously, we could play the what if game all day, but I think if the roles were reversed and Josh was sitting in red, I think he might have the same trajectory with the coaching and the supporting cast. They're
Yeah.
I think they're both, if they're a plug in guy because their talent is so great that I think Josh would have had the same outcome at the end of the day. That's just my opinion. But it doesn't take anything away from Pat because Pat is great, and like I said, they're 1A 1B for me. So that does it for me.
It's the Tom Brady, Peyton Manning thing, right? They say if
Yep.
Peyton Manning would have Bill Belichick, he probably had it. He'd probably be the one with 7 rings. But we'll see. You got to win. Josh got to win one first for me to start saying stuff like that. Hopefully, this is the year. Sorry, CJ, but hopefully this is the year. Man. Hopefully this year. But,
hey, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, for sure. But I got a question for you that that's different. It's the extended of the quick question today. That something I just came up with. I'm gonna go with you, CJ. Because we talked about rivalries, and how we go back and forth. Obviously, y'all been the ones who've been superior in the playoffs, but if we add the regular season, we got our wins in there too. What's the best rivalry you've watched or you've witnessed in your lifetime? What's some of you got a couple, but what's some of the best rivalries you watched?
As far as the Chiefs, obviously, growing up, like division rivals were always good. So like us and the Chargers always went at it. And like the Broncos always had good games. I would probably say the current one now would probably definitely be the Bills and the Bengals. Probably more so the Bills because we've seen you guys a lot more in the playoffs. We've only seen the Bengals twice, and obviously both of those games were kind of 1-1. They beat us at home. We won the other one. But before, obviously, besides those matches, say the biggest rivalry I saw for us was definitely Denver Broncos. Obviously, growing up, we always watched them and John Elway winning all the games and him coming to Arrowhead and trying to cry down the noise and that legendary moment. And
It don't, my
then all of a
bad.
sudden,
It don't gotta just be football. It can be any rivalry too. Just to let
any
you know
rivalry?
that
Oh,
any rivalry. Just
okay.
to to open up the conversation a little bit. It can be any rivalry. But if
Yeah.
you want to go Broncos, that's fine. But I'm letting you know it could be any rivalry.
No, that's a good one. Any rivalry? I went to school in Alabama. That's where I played college football. So for me, the biggest rivalry, I say Auburn, Alabama, bro. Like I've seen some hatred. I've seen a lot of hatred. And like I live in Kansas City, so I see KU basketball go against other schools as well. But I don't think nothing. And like obviously, there's a lot of like Ohio State, Michigan, like Ravens and Steelers when they go at it. I don't think I've ever seen a hatred more for Alabama, Auburn, bro. Like I've seen parents like disown their children. I've seen fans cuss each other out, fight on the highway over a game. I saw a clip. It was like a game. I think it was one of their games in the 80s. A fan, or no, one of the team members, like one of the equipment managers, stuck his foot out on the field and tripped a player in the middle of a play. He's running down the field about to score, stuck his foot out and tripped him up. I don't think I've ever seen a hatred be bigger than Auburn, Alabama. That would probably be the biggest one for me. And there's always some other ones. But living in Alabama, breathing it, and seeing it, I went to the kick six game when they scored out that field goal. So I think that's the craziest rivalry I've ever seen.
Even this
Auburn,
year,
Alabama,
this year game was crazy.
the Jalen Milroe,
same.
Bro,
crazy.
I was like 4th and 30. Are you serious?
Couldn't believe it,
Like,
bro. I was like, yo, you can't make this stuff up. You
really can't, bro. I feel sorry for that DB, bro. He got to live that out. That's sick. You got to live that out. Oh God.
All right, Matt. Which one? I know you got an obvious one that you know that you rep, but what's some of your biggest rivalries you watched growing up?
Yeah, just Ohio State, Michigan is always, it still is for me every year. I got a lot of friends. Mike, shout out Mike. He's gonna be a UM grad at some point if he ever stops going to school. Yeah, we got something every year. And then growing up, a lot of the I guess it was rivalries, but we weren't really good. But I mean, us and the Patriots, it's just division rivalries.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? There's a hatred for like Patriots. I'm also a big Yankees guy, so Yankees Red Sox, my biggest rivalry.
That's another big one.
Yeah. That's something like like my girl, she bought she got a hat. And she got it because it said B on it. She didn't realize it was a Boston Red Sox hat.
Burned it.
His first hat.
Said,
I'm
what
like,
is this?
had to throw that off of him. I'm like, get that out of here, man. So yeah, definitely Yankees Red Sox for me is the biggest one. And then division rivalries, the Patriots. I grew up hating Boston just because of the Patriots, honestly. And then it just trickled down with every other team there. But yeah, definitely some crazy rivalries with that.
Ah man, that's dope. That's dope. So obviously a lot which I've been saying. I grew up we didn't have a basketball team, so I was a Kobe fan, a Laker fan. So Laker, Boston, that was a big one. Anything Kobe, anybody Kobe played in the finals was kind of like a big deal for me. Obviously I was a Yankee fan, so Derek Jeter versus Ortiz and Johnny Damon and them boys, that was a big deal. I always rooted for the Yankees. And obviously, yeah, Bills. Early on in my life, Bills wasn't, like you said, wasn't good. So it was like it was a rivalry. I guess I never liked Miami, especially when they had Ricky Williams. That was he always used to smoke us, dog. It was just like Ricky get the ball. Ricky about to come
Ricky goes
150 and 2 tubs. You had nothing to do about it. It was like, yo, Ricky, somebody stop Ricky, please. You know what I mean? He stopped himself. Shout out to Ricky. Whatever you do what you gotta do. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, the Bills had some good rivalries too as well. But for me, I would probably lean on Yankees. I like the Yankees a lot in Lakers Celtics. I guess was my two because I'm a huge Kobe fan. So shout out to Kobe.
I'm a Laker guy too. So you picked the right side, my boy.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's only one side, bro. There's only one side.
You feel me? You feel me?
I hear you. All right. Let's get back to football. Let's get back to our teams. I want to start with you, Matt.
Yep.
Going into the matchup, key matchup. We down injuries. I want to pull up the injury report. But right now I know. Right now is Gabe Davis didn't practice.
He didn't practice.
Do you know Matt?
Yeah, Gabe Davis, Terrell Bernard, and the obvious ones. There was There was Gabe Davis and Terrell were the biggest ones. I guess I'll talk about. And then because Teron Johnson practiced today, he just had a red no contact jersey on. He's in the concussion protocol, so that's going to be something big to look out for. And Tyrell Dodson practiced today also.
Dodson practice.
Yep.
Did Benford practice or Benford didn't practice?
Benford, you're right. Benford too was on there, so I'll count those as the big ones. I think there was only 6 guys that didn't practice. Those 4 of the 6 are the big ones. And then, like I said, Teron Johnson practiced. And Rasul Douglas practiced today, so that's a good sign going for Sunday. For sure.
CJ, do you know anybody? Just before we get to people for like any major injury concerns for y'all going for this game?
No, I think mostly everybody that played last week is good to go this week. No major injuries from the Dolphins game. So as far as like all the key, we're trying to get some guys back, like guys that haven't been playing for a while. Like Brian Cook's been recovering. Obviously, guys like Kadarius Tony, Sky Moore, who haven't played in like 3 or 4 weeks, they were active and they are been practicing. But as far as from the game Sunday from the Dolphins game, everybody who played is practicing. So no major news for sure.
Dang. Yeah, I was hoping something. I was hoping a left tackle was out or something. Give us something.
I know, right? We actually got our backup back 1 game more with the rookie we drafted, so both of our left tackles are good to go, man.
All right.
Well, I guess another notable one, which I don't know, Sam Martin didn't practice, but we signed Matt Hawk off the street pretty much because he had a hamstring injury. Yeah, from after chasing down that blocked.
I seen him pull it. I was like, oh my God.
He almost pulled it. He's like, oh.
He's out. I was like, jeez.
I'm not used to running as much.
Exactly. And now Jordan Phillips is actually designated. He's eligible to come off of IR this week, but we haven't seen a move yet to make that happen. So that might be another thing to look out for before Sunday.
All right. So hearing the injury report, understanding that, I just want that in the frame of, this question as well. So, Matt, how do you feel about the Bills going into the game, right? Understanding the injuries. How do you just feel about your team specifically without talking about, the matchup or anything like that? How do you feel about the Bills' injuries or just momentum, how they playing going into this game?
Man, you know what? If we haven't had the season of IR, I will be a little bit more nervous. But, man, it just seems like I know I talked about it, a couple weeks on our show, on our recaps, is that it's been next man up all season long, and Sean McDermott has seemed to mastermind not only his starters but everybody that's stepping in. It's just like they're not missing a beat at all. It doesn't really matter who's playing. Obviously, we have a talent. Obviously there's talent differences, right? But Sean McDermott has guys coached up so well that he's playing into everybody's strengths, no matter where they are, and the defense just doesn't really seem to miss a beat, no matter who's out there. We were on our linebacker number 4, our cornerback number 5, our safety number 3. We're getting it. We're AJ Klein was heading to Key West before the game on Sunday. He came in, started middle linebacker, and had 11 led our team in tackles.
Led the game in tackles.
That's just crazy. A testament to how McDermott's got it rolling right now. So with that being said, the injury report is I would be more nervous if we haven't seen it all season long.
All right, that's good. But all right, CJ, this haven't been, I guess, the typical Chiefs year, right? Wide receivers dropping passes, penalties. It's been like, y'all, it haven't been just, easy, but somehow y'all here, y'all in the, the Elite 8, y'all in the Final 8, y'all on the road this time too. So, but y'all here somehow, some way, y'all find your way here. So talk to me about how you feel about the team, how they playing now, compared to this regular season. How you feel about the team going into this game, how prepared they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming into the season, the thing that gave me the most confidence about this team, because I expected our defense to be good. Now, a lot of people didn't think they would be this good, but like coming into the season, I expected the defense to be a top 5 unit because I knew we added depth when you sign guys like Drew Tranquil from free agency with the Chargers. You signed Mike Edwards, who has back-to-back weeks with interceptions from the Bucs. So we played him in the Super Bowl, so we know all about him. So we brought in these depth pieces. Then you signed Charles Minute, who one of the top pass rushers for the 49ers 2 years ago. So we brought in all these depth pieces to go along with the guys we had coming back, like Willie Gay, Nick Bolton, Chris Jones, and obviously Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed both took a step up this year. That's what gave me the most confidence about this team, because obviously our offense, the year they're having this year, I think most people thought we would have this last year. Receivers would struggle, the drops, They expected that, so it came like a year later. So I'm not necessarily like upset or frustrated because I expected this to happen eventually. Because you can't get by. Y'all know this. You can't get by with mediocre receivers every year.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's gonna catch up with you. And Beats tried to pull his little card, tried to play it 2 years in a row, and he got lucky this year. Well, not necessarily lucky. He's fortunate that you have a defense to cover up for the offense not being good. And we've never been able to say that. Like our offense has had to, like you said, carry
Yeah,
the
man.
team for the last 6 years. So the fact that we do have a top 3 and top 2 defense that can get you stops, get turnovers, and we've only given up 24 and 27. That's the most points we've given up. Only defense in the league hasn't given up 30 is the Chiefs. So to have a defense that can actually get you stops and get off the field, that's new to us. We've never been able to say that. So that's what gives me confidence going into this game and the other matchups, mainly because I know we can get off the field on third down. I didn't have that kind of confidence 2-3 years ago when we saw you guys, especially in that 2020 game when we had Gabe Davis got there looking like prime Randy Moss, snapping on everybody. So just going into a game knowing you can get stops, that gives me more confidence because obviously we know the receiver rotation kind of been cut down. It's kind of Rashee Rice, Justin Watson, Richie James. We kind of condensed the rotation down to those 3 guys, getting Trav and Noah Gray involved, continuing to feed Pacheco, which I love that. Just kind of leaning into your identity. And I think we said that a lot on our show and obviously on Twitter a lot. We're having conversations with fans. This is a defensive football team. You don't have to necessarily score 25 or 30 every week. That would be nice to do. But our average around points per game, we've getting up is around 17 to 16 points per game. So most teams struggle to score 20 to 21 points on this defense. So if we can hold teams to 20 to 21, you say, hey, Pat, go give me 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals, maybe a third one if Bucker has to, that's 23 points. And if you have to win a game that way, it's ugly. It's not pretty, but it's what you have to do to win ball games this year. And I think Andy's kind of figured out that identity the last couple of weeks. So that's what gives me more confidence.
On that point, right?
Sure.
I'm happy you brought that up, right? Because I want to ask you this question, right? Because you seen y'all was the greatest show on turf part 2, right? We seen Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Kareem Hunt. We seen it. We seen it all. Now we comparing it to this team, right? Where now the defense, like you said, top 2, you know what I mean, right? Really like elite. Like y'all one of the best deep. Spags is really probably having his best coaching job. Like I'm surprised nobody ever wants Spags. Y'all got him locked in. Nobody ever want him. That's fine. But I mean, so how comparing the two, right? Comparing greatest show on turf part 2 versus not so great offense. Is good enough, but the defense is really can shut down and will shut down. Like, do you have a preference, and are you okay with which one moving forward? Do you want to move back to greatest show on turf part 2, or are you fine with this and you'll rock out with this one? Like, do you have a preference?
Yeah, I love the team we have now, obviously, because you can get stops, and I think it's kind of like you said, it's based off reading the room, honestly. Like, you go into a season, you have a vision of what you want your team to look like, but then after 8 weeks, you have a real picture. All right, this is what we're good at when we're not good at. By week 8, we figured out this is not going to be an offensive-led football team. It's going to be a defensive football team. So this year, I'm very confident what the defense has. Now, obviously, going forward, you have the best quarterback in football and a lot of weapons around him. I would love to see Pat have a top-flight receiver. So this offseason is going to be very interesting for us because we have a lot of guys that can leave. Willie Gay is probably going to get a big bag from somebody. Chris Jones could or could not come back. We had that saga all summer with his contract. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Snead was an all-pro snub, in my opinion. I thought he was the top 2 corner
in the
league this year.
He was great.
So he wants a contract as well. So there's a lot of guys who need to get money. When you win 2 Super Bowls, guys are going to leave. And it's no shame to them. I want guys to stay as much as any fan would. But y'all know how this goes. When grown men try to feed their families, somebody got a big check in front of you. Who am I to tell you to turn that down? Or any fan to say that. So obviously we know some guys are going to be leaving the building whether we win or don't win this year. But obviously I think the goal for any team when you have the best quarterback in football is to feed him with weapons. So I would love to see us get back to that formula of having a top-flight offense with weapons around him. Kelsey ain't getting no younger. So we know he said he wants to keep playing, so he got a couple years left on his deal. So I really want to hone in on that offense for the next couple of years. And if we have to go back to being like a middle-of-the-pack defense, like top 15, top 12-ish, I'm cool with that, just knowing that Pat has weapons he can depend on because obviously this defense is really good, but I don't think you can lean on this defense as much next year because I don't know if most of these pieces will be back. So if you have me going forward, I'll probably lean on towards going more so to offense the way we've been in the past for sure. But it was great to see because we haven't been able to lean on the defense in a long time for sure. So
yeah, just to have the identity to go back to that
switch back.
All right, Matt. So I'm gonna ask you a question too because going into the season, right? Lose Leslie Frazier, Edmonds is gone, and our defense, is like is we still gonna have a top 5 defense? We've been having a top 5 defense, right? And and our offense has been just Josh, or like it's Josh or die, really. So understanding what we thought our team was going to be, now to seeing that our defense, isn't, as I said, isn't I guess top 5, but it still has great elements in we're more balanced offensively, but we had the ups and downs. You know, it was rocky this year. It wasn't necessarily as dominant, or we'd have as dominant games that we did last 2 years. So how do you feel about the team as far as the balance we have, the defense moving forward? Do you feel like this is a path to keep winning, or you feel like we need to, try to hone in on some of how Josh used to play, when he was throwing the ball 50 times a game? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
No, and you've seen it since Joe Brady took over, that the balance is kind of what we needed in order for this offense to take the next step. I mean, you see they're 7-1 now since Joe Brady took over. That's a huge testament to him. But definitely also what's good to see is the emergence of the youth on this team that have been thrust into these spots with the Christian Benford, who before the season we thought Kyer Elam was going to be the cornerback number one. He's emerged as our cornerback number one. And then the Trey White injury, you have Dane Jackson, who's been in the system for a while. You got those younger guys stepping up. Terrell Bernard being a big surprise with Edmonds being out and Milano going down. The Greg Rousseau, the Ed Oliver. So we have the youth on our side right now. The guys that are getting a lot of reps, and they're playing well. So I think with that aspect of it, it's gonna be up to Bean to figure out how he can make the make believe salary cap work in our favor and get some of the other guys to buy in to keep this type of formula going forward. Because if he can keep this youth together on the defensive side, Josh is just going to need a couple pieces here and there to make this thing work. Because, like you said, he is the offense no matter who's here, really. I mean, because at the end of the day, he can turn into our leading rusher week in and week out, or he can throw for 300 and 3 touchdowns and beat you that way with who we have. Obviously, Stephon Diggs is an ace, but you got guys like Khalil Shakir stepping up. Dalton Kincaid's going to be here for a while. It's just turning into something good like that. So I think this formula going forward will be the way that we roll with the balance, and then obviously Bean just got to figure out how to get some pieces that some gems that he's been bringing in lately.
All
keep
right.
him rolling.
All right, so I like that. So I want to talk about the regular season game just before we get to the preview this game, just to give us some context about how we think this game gonna go, right? So the Bills won 2017, controversy at the end. Was he offsides? Wasn't he offsides? Right? the Kelsey greatest play erased from history. So right. So how do you feel the adjustments is going to be made? What's something that if you can take from that game that you be like, this we need to do this more, we need to do this less. So what are you looking from that game, CJ, that was like, all right, will give you confidence that we can get this done, based on that regular season game? Because y'all were a play away essentially. So what's your thoughts on taking information from that game and applying it to this game? What's your thoughts that you taking it away from that?
No, absolutely. Going into that matchup, I was very my biggest question would be obviously how are we going to handle your defensive blitz packages. Obviously, we didn't have Pacheco that game, so it was Clyde Edwards-Helaire being our starter, and he hasn't really had that much of an impact or a role on this team probably since that 2020 game, which was seems like an eternity ago when last time we played you guys in Buffalo, and he ran for 100 yards that day. So that's the first time we really leaned on Clyde to have that much of a role. So having Pacheco back, having Drew Tranquil and Willie Gay both be on the field at the same time is huge. Obviously, because we were able to sack Josh 3 times that game and get him on the ground, but we also kind of evened out with turnovers. You guys were able to get an interception off us, and we got one off Josh as well. So that's the biggest thing for me, like any football game, who wins the turnover battle. So obviously Josh had a clean game, and we tried to play a clean game as well last week. So it's going to be interesting to see how both Sean McDermott and Spags come into this game and how they call it. I think my biggest question would be, how do you handle the middle of the field? Because y'all know that's where football is won nowadays. Obviously, you want to get down the field outside the numbers, but Gabe Davis dealing with a knee, and obviously Diggs has been not having the best of years that he wants to be, but still a top 5 receiver. But Snead having a great year, being able to lock down number 1 receiver. Obviously, it's going to be a big week for guys like Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, who both had great weeks last week, and they're going to be leaned on heavy this week. So that's going to be my biggest take. How do our linebackers cover Dalton and Dawson? Because those are the 2 guys that can make plays one-on-one and get down the field. So middle of the field is going to be huge this week as far as obviously spying Josh, not letting him get out the pocket. We know him and Pat love to extend plays and make plays with their legs as well. So that's going to be my biggest key for this week. How do you control the middle of the field? Who doesn't let those tight ends get off? Because obviously you guys are dealing with injuries at linebacker, so that's a nod to Travis Kelce to try to take advantage of, obviously, like Bernard and Benford and the other guys are going to have to play this weekend based off injury he plays. And I know Teron Johnson, I know he has a red jersey on, Matt, but he playing, bro. He ain't about to let get up this game.
He was practically doing backflips in practice. I'm like, oh, he good.
You feel me?
Yeah, somebody on that concussion team is definitely getting a bag this week to
exactly.
clear that one.
His head could be falling off his body. Like, bro, you're not missing this game, bro. I don't care what test he got to do, sit in a room with dark, whatever he got.
We're gonna lose one of those draft picks or something one of those 10 or 11 draft picks we got.
Oh yeah, he already knows.
Over that.
Yeah, he playing.
No, middle of the field is going to be a big time this week because, like Rasheed Rice, Dalton Kincaid, Kelce, Shakir, all those 4 guys in between the numbers and between the hashes, that's where the game is going to be won. So whoever wins that battle essentially will win the game for sure.
No, that's a fact. All right, so Matt, what's something that you saw success-wise that you remember seeing the game? We won 2017, but it was a little shaky towards the end. What's something that we're taking from that game for sure that you'd like us to use this game that you saw that was successful?
It was not really a secret weapon, but we kind of saw the emergence of James Cook in that game, right? I mean, he was our leading rusher, leading receiver that game, and it's going to be interesting to see how obviously the middle of the field is where it's going to be won, but I think how the linebackers are going to be able to handle the middle of the field and also have to worry about him coming out of the backfield. Nick Bolton, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he's probably like your best cover linebacker. And he might have some assignments there to shadow him, but it's going to be interesting to see how Joe Brady he's shown over the past couple of weeks that he can get guys, and Josh Allen obviously he can get guys to fall into a mismatch. I know we pointed it out with him getting Melvin Ingram on Dalton Kincaid for like a 35-yard completion. We're gonna hopefully we can see a lot of that, and they can. Brady and Allen can kind of pick up some things like that to where they can isolate a guy on somebody to where we'll have the mismatch there, and then Josh is just gonna have to execute.
I mean, I agree. I think this is interesting because I don't know how to feel about this game. Right? Usually, I have a feeling of going into this game because either I feel like our offense. I feel like each of our teams are flawed in their own way. Right.
Mm-hmm.
This not but it's like it's quarterback versus quarterback who will make the right plays. His office is it's Andy Reid versus Sean McDermott. I think that's a key matchup where it's like who gonna have that upper edge. Obviously Andy Reid is the all-timer, one of the greatest top 3 coaches of all time. I'm not trying to say McDermott is there, but McDermott has been playing, has been getting better, has been he's back into the defensive coordinator. It's not Leslie Frazier's defense. It is a Sean McDermott defense, and it's a difference. So I want to see how that, those two, pretty much gonna duel. For me going into it's the Sean McDermott duel, right? How he's going to attack Andy Reid offense with these injuries. How is he going to blitz? Is he going to, because blitzing Mahomes is always risky. We know this blitzing Mahomes is risky. Is he going to continue to blitz? How he's going to, send the dogs to him? How are we going to get pressure on Mahomes? I think that's the biggest issue. And can we get, like CJ said, can we win that turnover battle? Can the Bills turn over Pat Mahomes? Can we get there? Can we get a fumble? Can we, we home? Hopefully luck is on our side, but we'll see. We'll see. Moving forward, let's get into the game. Let's get into the game, man. Let's get into the game. So CJ, let's get one key player. Like, right, if Kansas City is winning, let's cut it in half. Let's cut it in half. If Kansas City winning is halftime and Kansas City is up 14-7, right? If it's up 14-7, why do you think that's going to be the case? And who in that first half are you looking for either a matchup that you think the Chiefs is going to exploit, or a player who just going to show up in a big game situation? So what's one player you feel like is going to show up in that first half for you guys coming into Orchard Park on Sunday?
Yeah, defensively, I would probably give it to on our pod. I was saying a lot of Willie Gay this week, but I think for you guys' show, I've kind of leaned and thought about it. Probably gonna be Charles Omenihu. Obviously, this is a big moment for him. He's been on a hot streak. I think he's had 7 sacks in the last 11 games. He's been playing really, really well. So he's been playing really good, man. He's the guy that we missed first 7 games because he had the offseason suspension and everything. So obviously he's one of the best inside pass rushers in the league. He came from that San Fran tree. Seeing they got 3 guys that always get 10 sacks every year. So
Yep.
signing him was huge for us, and he's a young guy. He's 6'5", long arms. He plays next to Chris, so he can play press and get guys off or just speed rush and get to the quarterback. So I love what he's been doing the last 5 weeks. But if he can go in there and disrupt and make it harder on you guys and get Josh uncomfortable, obviously we know you guys have Dawkins, who's one of the better tackles in the league, and it's going to be hard to get around him as well. But if we can confuse him and try to get guys in some twists and some stunts, I think that'll be a reason we get up. We can get pressure on Josh. And obviously not necessarily getting sacks on Josh. I was telling my guys in the pod, getting a throwaway or an incompletion is a win for Josh Allen. He's one of the hardest guys to get on the ground and sack. He's a freaking nature. He's 6'5", 250. He can run. It's hard to
And he don't give him on
it.
plays. He don't like
He
it.
don't.
He don't
He'll
like
try
it.
to do everything to keep guys off of you. In the Miami game, the Pittsburgh game, he's one of the hardest guys in the NFL to get on the ground. So if he throws the ball away or you get an incompletion, that's a win for your defense. So yeah, Charles Omenihu would be the biggest one for me, causing disruption for sure.
All right, Matt. Give me somebody that's gonna have that can potentially have a good first half, can have an impact on his game immediately. I'm talking about first quarter, second quarter, like somebody who can have an impact on his game. And if the Bills are up or when the Bills are up, you know what I mean? It's a Bill podcast. When the Bills are up, who's that player that's gonna have that impact?
Yeah, so I'll use the same side of the ball. It's going to be somebody on defense. I'm thinking it's going to be Ed Oliver, right? I mean, that interior line, that run, those guys, they set the tone with Pacheco, right? To get some yardage. He does not give up on any runs. He gets those extra yards. They said he runs like a toddler trying on shoes. Just crazy, just all jittery.
You know who he
crazy.
remind me of? He remind me of Marion. Remember Marion Barber from
Marion Barber,
Dallas?
yeah, Barbarian,
He looked
yeah.
like a reincarnation. Because rest in peace, he passed away. He looked like a reincarnation of him, man. He just out there, like man, just
banging off
violent,
people. Bang,
violent, man, violent.
But yeah,
sorry, finish your thought.
No, you're good. But with this new look, I was going to say Patriots wide receiver core, this Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver core. I think if you get them in third and longs, that's their weakness a little bit this year because of the fact that Pat's got to make a play and the receivers, we've seen Kelsey look a little human this year with the drop passes, and just getting them in those situations I think is going to be a win for us because it hasn't been they don't have that guy who's gonna take the top off this year, or at least that's not going to be on the rosters. Obviously, Rashee Rice is a hell of a player, but I don't think they're going to be able to throw the ball over the middle on third and longs and beat us all day. So I think first and second down with Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver disrupting things, creating some third and longs, I think that's going to be the way that we get those guys off the field and get the ball in Josh Allen's hands to put some points on the board, or at least attempt to.
Yeah, and for me, I think, and I'm gonna answer for both teams. I think the answer for me for both teams is the running backs. I think whatever running back had that better first half is gonna kind of tell you what team is probably winning that game. Pacheco, James Cook, right? Which one of them gonna score that touchdown? Which one of them going? So I think who established that run game, play action. It's Cole who gonna be wanting to tackle, who gonna not want to tackle. It's a 6:30, a late start, so it's gonna be already cold when they start. So I think the running backs is gonna be freezing, right?
It's gonna be I think a low of 9, high of 21 or something like that. But the wind chill out in Orchard Park,
it's gonna be late.
It's gonna be late.
6 o'clock start. It's gonna be cold. There's no way.
Sun was out for the Steelers game for
That's
sure.
like a summer day compared to last week. It was like negative 30. Feel way better. You should be good.
Yep. So for me, it's the running backs, man. The running backs are key for this game for sure, especially in this cold weather. So now I got a question for both of y'all because we both have high-end pass catchers, right? That's having quote unquote down years, right? Even though Kelsey's still the number one tight end, even though Diggs still have 1,000 yards, 8, whatever it is. But they had slumps in the middle of the season, Kelsey injuries, Stephon Diggs, maybe frustrated. I don't know, whatever we're gonna talk about. But which one do y'all feel like is gonna have a greater impact on this game? I know, obviously, I probably don't pick your own guy, but just to go with you, Matt, Stephon Diggs, Kelsey, you know what I mean? The two stars on a pass catching aspect of the game. Which one you feel like is gonna have that step up game and why?
Well, I think the person that is going to need to make more of an impact, I would say, would be Travis Kelce. I mean, because that middle of the field is going to be so important this game, and we've seen the last 6-7 games where Diggs really hasn't had to be a factor out there for us to be successful on offense. I think Travis Kelce, he's Pat's guy. he's gonna be the guy on third down that he's gonna look to, and he's got to be the one to keep the chains moving in those longer situations. And I think he's gonna have to have the greater impact. Who I think will have the greater impact? I think it's gonna be Diggs, man. I think Diggs is a guy. Sneed is a we saw him put the clamps on Tyreek. Tyreek said he pressed him into that Cancun trip. I think that
Yes,
Diggs
he did.
lives
Put
for
that
that
box
press.
on.
That Diggs has that crazy 2K package. He's gonna pull some crazy stuff off the line. Yeah, I don't know how successful he's gonna be able to press him. So I think he'll be able to create some opportunities for himself. Josh has missed him on a lot of deep balls. We saw it all season long. That this might be the game where they finally connect on a deep ball because of the aggression of L'Jarius Sneed on that line.
All right, CJ, which pass catcher, feel like is gonna have the bigger impact?
No, I agree with Matt. Travis Kelce has to have a bigger game for us because obviously having the injuries you have in the middle of the field to your linebackers, you have to take advantage of that. And obviously McDermott knows that and Andy knows that. So they're going to do a lot of things. I expect you guys, honestly, if Bernard can't go this week, I expect to see a lot of – do you guys prefer Micah or Jordan in the box? I think it's probably Jordan, right? And Micah
Jordan.
deep third? Probably
Yeah,
Jordan.
no, it'd be Jordan for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I expect to see a lot of Jordan in the middle of the field because obviously AJ Klein off the couch can play. And obviously you have some other guys that can come in and make plays. But if it's me and the money on the line, third down, I'll probably, if I had to trust somebody to cover Kelce, I'm probably putting Poyer on him. Because obviously I expect Teron Johnson, your slot corner, to probably cover Rasheed. So if it's obviously you want a bigger physical guy, I expect Jordan to see a lot of Kelce this week. So yeah, Kelce has to have a big game for us to take advantage of those opportunities with those injuries you've had in the middle of the field. But the guy I think that will have a bigger game, I think it will be Kelce, obviously because of the matchup and because I just think Snead hasn't given up a touchdown this year. I know it's crazy to say, but he just doesn't let guys get off on him. And he's seen everybody this year from Justin Jefferson to Tyreek Hill twice to Keenan Allen to Jamar Chase to Diggs. Like, there's no receiver that he hasn't seen in the NFL. Devontae Adams twice. Like, he's seen everybody in the league the last 2 years, and I think he's built for the moment. He's playing at a high level right now. Obviously, he's pissed off because everybody knows he should have been all-pro. Just name 4 corners in the league, and him not being in the top 4 is just so disrespectful. And he knows that, and the team knows it. And Spags has kind of been feeding into that moment this year. And I think, obviously, Spags has been the defensive coordinator of the year for me. If they gave out an award to an assistant coach, I think he would get it by hands down. For holding down the fort of the offense not being what they used to be. But yeah, I think the offense definitely has to have a big game for us to win this game because no matter how down the defense is for you guys, we know it's going to come down and we got to score points. You're not going to hold down Josh Allen forever. Eventually, you're going to have to score over 20 to win the game. So I think 87 has to have a magical game. And he hasn't had a big game, like you said, like Diggs has in a while. So injuries matched up a great opportunity. Rasheed Rice playing great in the slot. I think this is a big week for 87. He has to show up for sure.
That's a great answer. All right, man. So I've been kind of trying to not talk about them. The elephants in the room is our quarterbacks, right? Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. This is what obviously all the other aspect of this game is not as important, right? The running game, the defense, special teams, all of that can slide either way to help us win this game. But both our quarterbacks gonna need to have good games, great games. They're gonna have to be vintage themselves, right? And obviously Mahomes haven't had the weapons he's used to having, but he's still figuring out how to get it done. He's still winning games. He's still being Mahomes. He's still Mahomes. It is what it is. In the playoffs, I mean, he's only lost 2 games or something like that. So we know who Mahomes is, right? And Josh Allen has a playoff version of himself too. They both jump up to Super Saiyan or something like that. Josh Allen has performed in the playoffs. They both high-end playoff performers. It's just we want one of Josh's best games has to happen to be against Mahomes, and he just in 13 seconds. We're not talking about it. I refuse to talk about it. But let's talk about them. Let's talk about the quarterbacks. Let's talk about what it means for each quarterback going into this game, right? Mahomes, he got all the accolades, but if he figured out somehow to win this game and then get to another Super Bowl, I mean, I don't know what else can you say about the man. Like, it's just too much. But let's start with you, Matt, first. Let's start with Josh Allen, right? Because this is a big game for Josh Allen. A lot of pundits on ESPN and Fox Sports talk about this is his most important game of his career thus far, right? We talking about KC, the rivalry, but it's always been in KC. It's been a Kansas City Invitational, the NFC Championship game. But this year is not going to be, and we're not even there yet. We got to get to the AFC. I'm sorry, the AFC Championship. Even to get there, you got to go to Buffalo, right? So, and it's in your house, Josh. What's the excuse? I know the defense is banged up, but what's your excuse this year? So, what's your thoughts on Josh Allen, win and lose this game? Like, how do you feel about his, his, I guess his impact
His
or his
legacy.
legacy? Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
word. His legacy moving forward if he win this game. So how important is this game to Josh Allen?
I think it's definitely the most important game of not only his career, of McDermott's career, right? So
Okay.
I talked about it, I think in the beginning of the season this year, I talked about it last year. Every time they meet up. This is the trajectory in the NFL in our lifetime that is Brady Manning, right? And I don't, and this is I think this is the point right here. It's very early on. Obviously, he won the first one. And he has 2 Super Bowl rings, right? Do you want to be on the Brady side or the Manning side, to where you're pretty much just like, you won a couple. Obviously, you're one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever do it. But I know that if you ask Peyton if he would flip flop with Tom in a heartbeat, he would do that. And they always had to go through each other, it seemed like, to get there. And Brady finished way more
It's the
times than
first year
Peyton.
Brady or Manning not in the playoffs since
Is
'98 or something crazy.
Yeah, so
Crazy. Oof,
that's
crazy.
going to be the legacy. So this is where Josh
Crazy,
has to
man.
get over this hump, and beat Pat, and then hopefully finish off with his own. And then we're still talking about this for years to come. But this is you definitely don't want to be on the Manning side, which is crazy to say, because obviously if you said would you have Josh Allen take a Peyton Manning career, you'd say yes in a heartbeat. But I think that's kind of how I look at it, is that I don't I'd rather be on the side to where I'm about to get 6 or 7, and I guess it's crazy to say that Peyton settled for 2, but I know he could have had more had Tom Brady not been around, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, man. I don't know how much more can Pat add to this legacy already. He's one of the best, if not the best start of a career in any sport. You know what I mean? I don't know any greater start. Maybe Magic. I don't know who you want to add to it. But
Magic,
what do this mean for Pat Mahomes with this team, right? If he beat the Bills, if he find another AFC Championship game and Super Bowl, what would this mean for Pat Mahomes, with this team?
No, absolutely. Like you said, best start to any quarterback as far as the NFL in his first 5 years. And I kind of try to tell a lot of Chiefs fans, because you could tell that the level of like expectation is high, just like for you guys as well. You come into every season thinking, what? You win the division, you want to make the playoffs, win 10 games, get to a Super Bowl. That's your goal every year. And obviously, we've done that the last 5 years. The most wins in NFL history in a 5-year span. Like you said, 5 straight conference championship games at the crib. You've been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. If it wasn't been for both of your tackles tearing up their legs, maybe you could have got a third. So there's been a lot of success here in Kansas City, man. So I've been blessed to be here as a kid, born and raised in KC, bro. It's night and day compared to what I was growing up. We were just lucky just to make the playoffs growing up, having crazy losses and Alex Smith and hidden fumbles and
Hold on, I remember
six.
y'all Priest Holmes and Trent Green years. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
see,
saying?
you remember? Yep. See, we was
Larry
making
Johnson.
the playoff. Yeah, Larry, we was losing to the Colts. We were losing to the Steelers all the time in the playoff. The Patriots would get us, and obviously we lose to them in the playoffs. And obviously we went through the Trent Green era. Then we had that nasty era with Matt Castle. We had a top 2 pick, the number 1 pick in the league, actually. And then we obviously Andy Reid came in, and then we transitioned with Alex Smith and making the playoffs a lot, but losing to crazy teams like the Titans and losing to the Steelers, all field goals, and so many other bad losses, bro, we've had at the crib. So to have Mahomes come in 2018 and take us on this wave now, it seems like a blink, bro. I can't even, it goes by so fast. I remember 2018 watching him in the AFC Championship game versus Brady. Like, man, this is what it's like to win. And now looking at us now, we have a chance to go to 6. And, bro, I'm so grateful and so appreciative of this moment. So if Pat, I said after he got his contract, right after he won the first Super Bowl, I said if he gets 4, I think he's in the conversation to be arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. Because it's hard to get to imagine you to think Brady obviously went to what? He went to 8 Super Bowls, won 7. Yeah. Obviously won with Tampa Bay. So to even think about to get to 7, 8 Super Bowls is so crazy. And Pat,
I think he went to 10.
Was it 10?
10 he lost 3.
1 7?
Yeah, because he lost 3. Yeah.
He did lose 2. Yeah, he lost 2 to the Giants. That's true. He lost 2. Crazy.
That's
crazy.
You
go into 10 Super. That just sounds stupid to even say. I went to 10 Super Bowls. 10 Super Bowls? There's teams that can't even get to
I do that on Madden every year. Every time I get mad, I do that on my player. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That sound fake, bro. To even think. So obviously, I don't think the Chiefs are going to get to 10 Super Bowl. God forbid if we do it, I'll be ecstatic. But
I mean,
we're been to 3, so 7 more. I mean, it's not crazy.
It ain't.
That next phase of the career. So, but I've always said to myself, if Pat can figure out a way to get me 4 championships, I think he's in a legit conversation to be obviously with Joe Montana, and obviously Brady has 7. But I kind of think of it in this context, and y'all know it too, playing Brady every year. If Brady didn't like establish himself with those defenses during those first 3 Super Bowls, his career would be a lot different. Obviously, he won the ones prior after that, but I think being there with a team with obviously Richard Seymour, and obviously like who else was on that team? Teddy Bruschi, Rodney Harrison, Sante Samuel, all the legends in New England.
Ty Law, all of them.
Ty Law, they leading the way for Tom, and he was just kind of playing his part. The defense was really the reason they were winning, and then Tom Brady kind of took over going into 07, 2011, and all the other Super Bowls that they were able to win. I think Pat is in the notion of like he's kind of been the reason we've won most of our championships, and this will be the year. It's kind of like that's why I kind of appreciate what I see and what I saw with New England. If we can win a championship this year, it'll be because of our defense. It won't be because of Pat. Pat will do his part and help out with the team, but if your defense can be the foundation and the leadership, I think that's what when you're talking dynasties, that's the definition of a dynasty to me. I don't think we are one yet. I think we're very close. If we get one more championship, he's in the first 5 years of his 10-year era. 2018, we just finished up year 5. We're in year 6. If we go through the next 5 years and we get 2 new Super Bowls, we can have a conversation of is he the best quarterback ever, and obviously we'll be a dynasty at that point. But winning a championship, you have to be able to be like you have to change your identity. You can't win the same way every year. You ask any great team, the Warriors, you ask the Bulls, obviously the Patriots in their era, North Carolina, UConn women's basketball. You have to be able to change your identity at some point. You can't do the same thing every year for 5, 6, 7 years straight. You got to do something different 1 or 2 years. The league catches up. They're smart too. They get paid to play. So if we can win a championship, being our defense leading the fold, that would be the most proudest championship for me because we figured out a way to get over the hump and change when the rest of the league is trying to catch up for sure.
Man, I agree with both of y'all guys. Y'all both great points. So let's end it here. Let's end it with a score prediction. Right, let's end it with a score prediction and your keys to success. So whoever you got winning the score prediction and why you picking that score, how you going to get there. Like, give us a little roadmap of how you're going to get there. We're going to start with you, CJ. What's your score prediction and what's your key to success and how y'all going to get there? What's that roadmap to victory?
Score prediction. I'm gonna go. Ooh, this is tough. I'm gonna go Bills 20, Chiefs 23. Okay. And I think Bucker walks off with another win. I think it's going to come down to the NFL is not letting this game end without being like a game-winning field goal,
know, right?
Like a game-ending stop. Like either Bass or Bucker is going to have to win the game at the end. So
somebody gonna be mad at the refs. You know how
exactly. They want all the drama. It's going to be some kind of game-winning, game-clinching field goal to win the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if it goes into overtime. That'd be a good bet. If y'all want to make a bet that right now. This game will probably go into overtime. I can see it right now.
NFL script overtime.
I see the script right now. Roger can't fool me, bro. So no, I think the key to the game obviously will be our defense and how we were able to get stops to get off the field. Because obviously we've kind of figured out our identity on offense, run the football, control the clock, and we can score 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. That's kind of been our identity of how we're going to win. Our defense has been leading us all year. They've been being a horse. They've had a lot of great teams they win against. They've seen every receiver. They've seen obviously Josh Allen. They've seen every quarterback talent you can think of. So this is the week where Spags is going to have to earn his money. If he can figure out a way to get this done, I think this will be one of his best coaching jobs for sure. So defense, keeping Josh Allen off the field, getting that 1 turnover, maybe 2 if we get lucky enough. I think that's the way we win this game for sure. So I'm going to go Chiefs 23, Bills 20.
All right, I hear you. All right, Matt. Let me hear some good news, man. Who you got winning and what's your keys to success?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna go. It's gonna be a close one. It's gonna be 27-21. I think it's gonna be one of those ones where unfortunately, how our season's been going, Pat will have the ball at the end of the game, and they need a touchdown to come down and score or something like that, and that McDermott defense holds up for us one more time. But the keys to the game, I think, is obviously the D-line setting the tone. Shutting down the run game and forcing Pat into 3rd and longs, and then also trying to get a turnover. I think the last 2 times we played, Pat Rousseau had a crazy tip pick or something.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah,
it's going to be something like that. Where guys are making a big play that's gonna put us up another score and kind of having to force the Chiefs into playing catch up for the rest of the game and then just getting there, but just not being able to do it at the end. So I do think we come out 27-21.
All right, I like y'all narratives. I mean, I see, the line moved a little bit. It was Bills -3. It started off at, I think, Bills -2. I think it started off.
So, yeah, it was 2 or 2.5.
I got it at 3.5 at one point. I locked it in before it dropped down again.
Oh wow! So we'll see. 3 is cool. The over under is 45.5. I like that. I think it's gonna come. I think if I was a betting man, I would take the under in that. I think it's gonna be one of those. I don't think it's gonna be a high scoring game per se, but it's gonna be like it's field position, quick, whatever. It's gonna be one of those games. You know what type of game we're talking about. It's just one of those games where every possession count, every possession matter, every field goal matter, everything matter, every missed catch, drop pass, all that is gonna be like you know what I mean? It's gonna be one of those games. So I got the Bills winning. I'll say 23-21. Right? That's a 44. That's a 44. So I'll take the under in that. So I got the Bills winning 23-21. I think we get a late field goal. I don't know if it was a walk-off field goal or anything like that. But it's a late field goal and that put us up 2 points or something like that, or even 1 point, maybe 22-21. It's gonna be really close. It's gonna be like whoever scored last couple minutes is gonna win the game. So yeah, I think it's gonna be the keys to my success for me. I think it's Josh just mistake-free football, right? Mistake-free football, I think, makes us just a tough team to be out, right? Because Josh been giving a team just other possessions to come back and be effective against our defense. I think our defense being depleted potentially, we can't have those extra possessions for Chiefs. We just can't give Kelsey and Mahomes a short field in any type of way or fashion. So punts, if we need to, before over interceptions, stuff like that. So I think if Josh Allen has a clean game, and I think he will, I think he understands, that Steeler game helped him. I think he's gonna run the ball. I think Josh Allen's gonna give us 50+ yards rushing. He might get a running touchdown. And I think James Cook gonna have a good game as well. So I think it's Josh Allen and James Cook between those two, the two most dynamic players I think on our team right now. I know we got Stephon Diggs, but I think we're gonna use James Cook a lot this game. I think he's gonna have a good game for us. So I think Josh Allen, mistake-free football, Josh, mistake-free football. Leave it out there. I think he's gonna do anything he can to win this game. I think when Josh playing with that free spirit of, not trying to force it, but literally just doing everything that I can to help us win, not in a forced type of way, but in a just in his Superman type of way he do, you know what I mean? Like he did against the Steelers. So I think Josh will have a really good game, and I think the Bills win 23-21. Any last closing statements before we get out of here, CJ or Matt, just about the game, about the excitement? Where you watching the game at, CJ?
Probably be with the family. We probably gonna find a local bar, some of the crew that we all watch the game at. So try to keep the same mojo, same word, same gear. We superstitious, so you got to watch at the same spot. So
yeah, I heard that. All right, Matt, you going? So what's good?
Of course.
You got on the sideline.
I'll be there for sure.
What time you going to tell? What time y'all heading out there?
Well, we don't go to the private lot style anymore. We go when the lot's open. So it's a 6:30 kickoff. Lots open at 2:30. We'll be up there at 2:30.
Okay. All right.
So we'll be up there tailgating for sure. Getting it in. Should be a great one. I'm excited for it, man.
All right, man. This is gonna be a great game. Another one of those epic games. This is a great. I'm just happy about the football. I'm happy that the Bills are here. We both had our ups and downs of the season. So to find out to be at this spot, man, it's a great game. It's gonna be a great game either way. I think the Bills gonna win, but I think it's gonna be a great game, and I'm happy we are part of it. I'm happy we got a quarterback. I'm happy we just in this moment. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Bills, shout out to Casey, shout out to CJ. In this podcast are the Aftermath and Tell the Truth podcast. Where can they find those?
Yeah, definitely. You guys can find me on Twitter at CGG81 at the Aftermath _KC, and our Tell the Truth podcast is at Kingdom Cast. We'll definitely have an episode posting up today, and obviously post game as well. So yeah, definitely follow me at CGG81. I'll retweet everything. You guys can keep up with us for sure. I appreciate y'all for letting me hop on. It's always love. Shout out to Sam Mills. Y'all know y'all my guys. Anytime y'all need me, y'all know I'm always available to pull up for sure.
That's dope. Yeah, and definitely. Hopefully, you don't feel too bad after this game. Hopefully you feel good. You can make it home safe.
You feel me? You dig?
But once again, overduebillspod.com. We got a contest. Matt, you want to talk about the contest a little bit?
Yeah. We do the contest just like we do. We've been doing this since the jump. You want to predict the score, predict Josh Allen's passing yards, Diggs' receiving yards, and then we're gonna tag one person that's up on our socials now. So definitely get in that contest. Win an Overdue Bills tee. We're just trying to get everybody in some merch and trying to get a winner, even if we don't win. But I think we're gonna win. we had to stop betting CJ because we were sending them wings every year.
Oh my
So
God.
Hey, they
Bad
was
luck. It
good.
was
They
a
was
bad luck
good,
thing for
man.
us. Yeah, we had to
Yeah,
stop
Nah,
that.
they
man.
We had
was
to stop
good.
that.
No, well, y'all ain't gotta stop now. They was good. What we doing? I need some of those. They was fire. I ate them things for like a week. Them things was fire.
After, if we win this game, we'll bring it back next year. We'll bring it back because we play again next year. We play again next year,
He said
obviously.
next year.
But all right, man, this has been a great podcast, man. Thank you, CJ. And we at Matt, we end every show with a hey.
Hey, hopefully there's a lot of that this weekend, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, sir.
this ain't the normal thing.